Welcome everyone to a Tenepus special on meeting a Momo Sapien with artist Sailo. And here's a brief bio. He's loved breaking toys as a child to see what's inside, and is currently using Pantene Pro 5 Advanced Hair Fall Solution shampoo. And every weekend, you might find him at a Mizo diner in Delhi to have rice beer. Spectacle power is minus 0.75. And among the things he doesn't like are scam calls, YouTube and Spotify ads. And among the things he likes are boobs and boring things. Something about boobs. Tenepus is actually planning on doing a special series on weird boobs in art history. So you might be interested. We'll email that to you soon, whenever it's out. And over here, we've got the special topic, which is Momo Sapien and evolution story. What would you call it?
We call it zine.
A zine.
Comic.
A zine. Yeah. First of all, I'll have to start with how we met. And this was during, this was in 2018, I think. The Northeast Society of our college was looking for artworks for using it for posters to raise funds for its journal. And through Christina Pang, we got your name, we got your permission to use 2 artworks. And I think I met you at Unicolor.
Yeah.
So it will start with a bit of self-sharing. It'll have to start with a bit of that. I think I had been working on something called Confessions of the Momo Murderer, and about racism, of course. And then it kind of ends with perhaps revenge is not a dish best served cold but steaming hot. I mean, the protagonist has somewhat been called Momo, and then in the end loses her mind and becomes a serial killer. And this is the line that the person uses. And then I came across this artwork you sent through Christina, and I instantly felt like if I were to compare both of our art, then I felt I must be evil, and this is actually the work of an angel. The way it lacks that anger which we see with either my art or other artworks, and the way we speak about racism. This was a very witty, creative take, and I'm just still in awe of this evolution story, Momo Sapiens. Okay, yeah, the thing about Momo Sapiens, what I want to know is how did you deal with it? How does it come out with so much lack of, say, juvenile anger? I'd assume you were still a teenager, right? When you made it.
What? Yeah, when I made it, yeah.
So, like, how did you deal with it in such a way that there was this clear lack of, say, anger? That was what I was saying, adolescent anger. For, say, Northeasterners over here, especially the men, for example, or even for myself in this regard, I did have a lot of resentment, a lot of anger within, and that kind of came out in my art. For me, it was more of an expression of that anger. When I saw your cover, especially just the cover, in fact, I hadn't even opened it. I just read it, and I felt, okay, this is the work of an angel. That's the word I used, because maybe it was white and it seemed so pure. So I wanted to ask, how do you deal with anger? Or were you not angry to begin with? The treatment, the racism.
Yeah, that thing. Well, it's It's like I've been like growing up in outside Mizoram, so it has become quite common, or maybe I cannot comprehend the racism. Maybe sometimes I just feel a part of a different culture, right? So it's quite neutral to me. I think it came out of being, subverting the word Momo as quite.
Yeah, and I'd say I'm comfortable actually embracing Momo Sapien than say a word like Chinky.
Yeah, that is the thing that clicked. So that was kind of the journey.
And thank you for that. Just again, immediately, the moment I opened that, what Christina handed over, you sent it through Christina. So all my hate just melted away, and I was a better person after holding it in my hand. I have it right here, in fact. Let me get it. Right. Yeah, this is my copy of Momo Sapiens.
One of the professor from, I think, Kamala Nehru, Samarth Singhal, Mr. Samarth Singhal. So he wrote an article about it. When I read it, I couldn't imagine like so much of words has been written down by some people about small comic of like 6-7 pages. It was, and I thought like, fuck, this guy he's seeing more things than I just did on like small panels. Like it was interesting. Everyone's reaction was somehow, I mean, like they smiled, they laughed, not laughed at the comic, but like gave them a laugh. Yeah, that was almost everyone's reaction. And maybe in those laughter, it would maybe address the issue back of their mind. I don't know how it would work, but yeah, something like that.
Didn't they say, Sailo, this is amazing, we want a thicker, bigger piece, zine, we want a
No,
full-fledged comic book, no?
no, not really. Me and my friends, like in our first year, were talking about like what constitute like design and how is it different from art, stuff like that. We were learning isometric drawings, figure, and all these academic way of learning, right? But then like, so I looked at the soap that I was using, and like kind of by the time it expires, like it kind of had a shape, and it was me who was using it, and it takes time to evolve into little pieces, right? So in a way I was kind of designing the soap, but not consciously. All the physical form of everything that constitute the idea of home, like bed, table, chairs, cupboard, clothes, utensils, etc. Are what I did was I took those furnitures, objects, tied them together like a ball of huge chunk of, you know, furnitures and hung them up on the ceiling and like a chandelier. So this, the idea was to sleep under the ball of furniture, like the huge, heavy chandelier like object, just hovering above you with one rope, but yeah, strong enough to not fall. But this sense of discomfort is, you know, evoked when you stand under it. So that was basically what I wanted to, you know, make the audience feel was the discomfort. That's what kind of sometimes for me anxiety feels like. Where I came up with this idea was basically this whole idea of ephemerality. Nothing lasts forever. So during those times when before I did that, my art teacher in my school days used to push me, help me, or support me to develop a way of painting and, like, you know, to make a painting such that it lasts long or, you know, centuries. So he was kind of into stuff like that. And then and those time I broke up with my ex was my so it's, you know, it's quite dramatic, like nothing lasts forever and stuff like that at times. And and that's when I kind of question this, you know, the idea of art that my teacher gave me.
Right. And about trust and design.
Trust and design. So there's this scene in Slumdog Millionaire. Uh, the protagonist, he and his brother, they were talking about things. I don't remember. Yeah. So in Taj Hotel. So his brother was filling up plastic bottle on a regular tap and shut it, closed it, and sealed it with Febiquick. So there's this ring in plastic bottles, right? And how environmentalists and all, like, kind of address the issue that these kind of rings are, you know, consumed by animals and, you know, fish. So it's bad for the environment. And the trust part comes when, so it's in a way, like in terms of design, this is quite necessary because it gives a reassurance that no one has opened it, right? But what if we just all trust each other, let's say? And so this design element, it won't be necessary. I mean, like, if we trust each other of, you know, not robbing someone's house, then we won't need door locks. So, like, there are designs that you know, got invented because of, you know, our lack of trust, or maybe because of trust. I don't know. So it's weird.
Yeah.
When I started college, they just assumed I didn't know Hindi, and I didn't correct them. until my 4th year. So I just kept on speaking in English to them. So a lot of my friends still don't know I can speak Hindi and understand it. So it gives this shadow, this persona. So you can literally play with it. I mean, like I'm saying it kind of protects, because if you get to speak in Hindi to them, I'm afraid that it will overwhelm me in the group activity, like approach me easily, or I don't know. It's not like I don't want them to, but it's like a wall for me. It's like a mask.
Yeah, I used to think the reason we're getting taunts thing is because they don't know about the Northeast. Like they say things like "go back to your country" or "go back to China," and then later what happened was people started growing aware of Manipur, and in fact, in school, in high school, I think the Northeast was also in the syllabus and everything about the tribes in the society. So it changed from "go back to your country" or "go back to China" to "go back to Manipur." And a now in JNU, masters. We met in JNU at the cafe with Jonathan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, around that time, I actually had an auto wala who was ferrying us from one cultural event, and we were coming back to the university. I was with another northeastern friend of mine, and that person actually started lecturing us on how all northeasterners were Hindus before the missionaries came and converted it. And now I'm getting exposed to all these Mahabharata uh, stories. I mean, stories wherein the Mahabharata has apparently mentioned the Northeast, and we are apparently mentioned in the Mahabharata. But the thing is, the nomenclature, the names were actually changed during, say, the Vaishnavism spread into Manipur. So the location name saying Chitrangada's Manipuri or something, it's completely. So now we have more of a rewriting of our own history as well. And people are using that narrative storytelling in this sense. And things have changed.
Yes. Also, like, in Arunachal, like they were talking about like our friends, like how, like the central, how they're trying to use that thing that you just said.
Hmm. Somewhere there's even Eklavya. Apparently, there's one tribe from the northeast that belongs to this Eklavya's community or something because of how they don't use some thumb and archery in the some
Yeah.
like everything of the sort. They're trying to include the northeast in this sense.
It's I don't know, like, because the like the ideal like person that I have in my mind is it's not just one, it's many. Sometimes like I the person that I see around or be influenced by kind of unknowingly imitate them. That 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 is one thing that is not consistent
Mm-hmm.
in being, like, as an individual. It's quite transcendental. You can't be one person. It's hard, like, in the way I see it. So
So sometimes, uh, hmm, very situational, circumstantial. So who are these people that you admire and look up to?
Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, and yeah, Spider-Man. Something anything other than Spider-Man. Yeah, that's it, Spider-Man.
Okay.